Hello, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed episode 1. Episode 2, we have a few things that we're going to cover. I do have a correction to make on Wolsoul's gear. So a simple weapon, it's going to be a hand axe, not a short sword, obviously. I went back, short swords are going to be a martial weapon. So she will be kitted out with scale mail, a dagger, a hand axe, a short bow, and an explorer's pack. So yeah, so that should be fun. Today our goal is to meet with Thorig Dubois, who is our main contact in Shadwod, and I'll show you the settlement of Shadwod here in a second. This is who our patron who has advised us to meet with. Thorig is very experienced in exploration in the frontier, setting up mercenary companies and stuff like that. So they're going to get us situated and established in Shadwod. I'm also going to introduce you to the 10 random generated level 0 characters that will establish our barracks. We'll go over a calendar and how we're going to keep track of time. We're going to generate some initial rumors. And then we'll probably supply all of the characters off screen, and then I'll just do a concise overview of what we kitted them out with, just because I don't want to spend 45 minutes of an episode selecting gear for level 0 characters. And then I'll go over what the different episode types are going to be on the channel. We're going to have basically 3 different videos that I post to appeal different types of parts of the campaign that people may or may not be interested in, and then so that way it doesn't get convoluted all into one just giant episode. So yeah, that's the goal. We'll try and get through all of that. If not, we'll break off into a episode 3. So introducing you to Shadwod. Shadwod is a frontier settlement on the coast here, and it's got 3 docks, which can... One dock can hold a sizable ship. I don't know the exact length. We're looking at probably 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 70-ish feet in length. So pretty decent. This is actually where our restocks come through. So all of our resupplies will be done through shipping. And so there's going to be a delay. I don't know if we're going to be on a 1, 2, or 3 week delay. Probably somewhere in the middle there, 2 weeks between resupply shipments and stuff like that, outside of the stuff that we can find in the initial frontier camp. We do have 4 districts. We have a docks district. We have a slums, dark water slums here, which is going to be kind of the highlighted purple area. So this is where a lot of like lower grade housing, even tents of frontiers people coming in and out of the town. Trying to establish a foothold. We have our central district. This is going to have a little bit more of our prominent buildings. We'll go over what they are. Includes things like a quartermaster, an inn tavern, and then we have the Ashbourne Market. So this is our central district, and then we have our Ashbourne Market with some market traders and stuff like that. And then just outside of the city, we have a stable master. So the garrison here is not extremely large. It is roughly, I believe it was 35 soldiers, not counting officers. So let's see. Yeah, so there's 20 light footmen, 5 horse crossbowmen, and then 10 medium horse. And the outpost is ran by Captain Rowson, who is a 7th level fighter. They have 2 lieutenants, Lieutenant Benroe and Lieutenant Rogara. And then there are 3 sergeants. So Sergeant Bridor, Sergeant Kazan, and Sergeant Selux. And we'll get introduced into them as it comes along. We're not directly dealing with the garrison, but it's good to know that there is a garrison. This is a military frontier outpost. We'll establish what kingdom this is, but this is just kind of the initial setup. We have 11 major points of interest within Shadwod. So we have our citadel here in the central district. We have a slaughterhouse over in the Darkwater slums. We have Grimshade Quarters, which is kind of the local motel and inn. We have Shadowed Oak Store, which is kind of our general merchant, general store, not dealing with specialty trade. So they're also going to help facilitate within the dock district for getting those resupplies from ships. And then in the Ashbourne Market, we have an apothecary. We have a couple of traders who specialize in rare items. So there is an ivory trade that is established. So that means that there are going to be animals with ivory, whether that's rhinoceroses, elephants, or maybe a new creature we've never even heard of. We have a local scribe who puts out a kind of a general paper announcements. They also try to bring in town news from the outside known world. We have a wine merchant. We have our dock master, our stable master, and then we have our barracks here where the garrison is located. The town is surrounded by a palisade fence structure with 6 guard towers, which are manned at all times. So this is the overview of Shadwod. And again, this was generated using Shadowdark settlement procedures, so pretty cool. And then we just kind of fleshed it out, hand drew it, stuff like that. A lot of our artwork and our maps and stuff like that, that's going to be featured as one of our videos. It will be, we'll call it like a behind the scenes where we do prep, map making, we'll do our faction turns, stuff like that. So anytime we got to dive into more of the prep and behind the scenes stuff, that will actually be in separate videos, in a separate playlist. The other type of video is what you're seeing now, which is going to be our actual play, where we go through the campaign and the characters are actually interacting within the environment. And then our third type of video is going to be a concise recount of what happens. So if you just want kind of, I don't know the time frame, maybe somewhere between 5 and 10 minute videos that kind of recaps maybe a whole week within the campaign, we're going to do what I like to call Captain's Journal Logs, or letters to the patron, which is just a point of view from Wolsel, updating and sending those letters out to the patron to let them know how the expedition's going within the frontier, and kind of gives us a little bit more of an intimate look into Wolsel and their character from their point of view. So that's going to be the 3 types of videos. Anyways, so we have made it to Shadwod. And we basically have gotten there. We don't want to waste any time. We've made our way to the central district, and we are looking for Thorig Dubois. They are a dwarf. They are very friendly. However, they are very opinionated, so they're not afraid to let us know what their thoughts are on different things, which is actually good. You know, they don't beat around the bush, which is really good. What's interesting, though, for as opinionated they are and friendly, they actually talk in a very soft and quiet voice. And another great thing is they are very virtuous. So we know that we can trust them. One interesting fact about Thorig Dubois is they collect books and scrolls. So who knows, there could be missions that come up where they are looking for a rare artifact, or if we come across a rare book, maybe we always have Thorig to come back to and see if we can sell that or get more information from it. So they're a level 1 fighter, and that's kind of all I have fleshed out for them right now. And this was generated again using the AD&D NPC rules. So basically, we're going to come in, we're going to meet with Thorig. They're going to let us know that they have already put out news that there was a new company forming, and there are 10 volunteers, and these are kind of the apprentice, not apprentice, but adventure interns, characters looking for adventure and a way to get past just the normal grind in the new world. They're looking for fame and fortune, and so these are our level 0 characters. And okay, Thorig instructs us that there's going to be a lot of administrative stuff to take over and get settled this evening, but not to worry about that now. It's more important to get the new recruits settled and find where we're going to set up housing, whether that's going to be in the slums or in the central district. So Thorig instructs us that if we go down to the capital, most of the recruits have only been in town a couple of days, and they were told to assemble there today to await for further orders. So we make our way to the capital, and there we see a handful, 10 to be exact, of different characters. We see a handful of dwarves, some elves, a few halflings and stuff. So we go over and we say, welcome, we are Wolsel, we are your new employer, and we want to just introduce ourselves, let you know that we're going to establish a place of residence, and we will set off on many great adventures and do it as soon as possible within the next day or two. If you all can line up, I'd like you to introduce yourselves and let us know basically what you used to do, what you have some experience in. So they line up, and in no apparent order, the first one speaks out, and they say, "My name is Jazder," says a female elf, and she says, "I used to be a barrister." And Jazder is pretty average. They don't have any extraordinary attributes. We do have a couple of negative ones in their strength. They have a strength of 8, and their luck is 8. The next one comes up is a pretty tall, slender female human, and she says, "My name is Zobel. I used to be a fisherman in my village." And you could tell that she is not used to, and you can tell she is used to physical labor. You can see that her figure, while slender, is very muscular. She has a strength of 14, a luck of 15, so that's some really great. Not the most agile character with an agility of 7. She steps back, and this stout little male dwarf comes up with a big belly, and he says, "My name is Cures." And I'm not going to do accents the whole time, but the dwarf comes out and he says, "My name is Cures. I was a brewer, and I love my mighty drink," as he taps on an empty cup chained to his belt. For being a dwarf, they are surprisingly agile with an agility of 14. No extreme strengths. Not the brightest one, with an intelligence of 7. Our next character is going to be a male elf. He steps forward, and with a very elegant tone, he says, "My name is Tabernary, and I used to be a poet." And as he steps back, you can kind of just see this muscular body hidden among their modest clothing. They are a strength 15 elf, but they are horribly not agile. And so as they step back, they kind of stumble across their own foot. They have an agility of 4, so that's going to be really fun to play with. Our 5th character steps forward, and this female comes out. She says, "My name is Lanham," and she's kind of a taller dwarf than what you would imagine, but no extreme qualities to point out. They do have a pretty high intelligence and a 15. And then the second row steps forward now, and we have this little female halfling poking around, trying to make her way seen. She waves her hand. She says, "I'm Ogun, and I used to be a squire." And you're like, "Oh, interesting. Is there any reason that you decided not to pursue your knighthood then?" And Ogun looks and she smiles, and she basically just says, "I find that I can make my own luck here faster." She has a very high luck, 14, a strength of 15. Going to be a very good martial candidate. So hopefully she survives to level up. Next, we have another dwarf that steps forward. He says in a low voice, "My name is Quasar." So we just have another dwarf. He says, I am experienced in the form of navigation. That is really great. That's going to come in handy. Whether they were a navigator of the sea or anything like that, just having someone with a navigation background is going to help when it comes to the hexploration. They also have a very high intelligence of 16, so a very good intelligent-based character. Hopefully they survive and make it to level 1. We have 3 more, so to kind of get through these, we have a male half-elf named Algrada. They used to be a weaver. Extremely high stamina of 16. Their personality is also pretty high at a 14. We have another halfling male. He is his name is Rafe, and he used to be a barber. So I don't know how that's really going to help us, but it's an interesting little tidbit of information. Pretty overall, average. Nothing stands out. Their strength is a little low at 7. And then to round out our initial 10 characters, we have a female dwarf named Gwen, and she is pretty much just all straight, moderately average, but her agility is pretty low at 6, so hopefully she doesn't stumble over herself like Tabinary. So yeah, so these are going to be our 10 initial level 0 characters. We're not going to dive into too much more about personality or backstories until they start to level up. Essentially, once they hit level 1, we'll go in and we'll find out some more characteristics about them. But these are our 10 level 0s that we're going to push through our initial exploration, kind of like an informal funnel. And so they will be with us there. We instruct them to stand by as we are going to establish their quarters, which we will be meeting with the owner of Grimshade Quarters to see if we can negotiate some sort of group discount on living accommodations there. So now the way it's going to work for our troops, basically this is where I bring in some more things that I like. This necessarily isn't going to be RPG focused. This is more of a meta currency that you can find within like tactical games. So we have 3 meta currencies. We have food, chest keys, and shields of power. So food is basically going to be a separate currency that manages our garrison back in the hometown. So 1 unit of food will cover 1 soldier's cost of living for 1 week. Chest keys are what we're going to use to unlock special characters. So basically, once we establish enough chest keys, we'll be able to open those chest keys, which will allow us to get rarer races, characters that maybe come with special equipment, other than just our normal recruits that come in every 2 weeks on the resupply towards the town. So you can imagine kind of like a Darkest Dungeon where every week you had new recruits that you could choose from. We're always going to have those, but those are going to be the bottom of the barrel, whereas the chests allow us to get more advanced races, stuff like that, and even potentially rare loot, magic items, stuff like that. So, and then we have our shields of power, which is going to be kind of our gate for expansion within our company. So, for example, getting out of the local inn and establishing our own barracks, establishing our own stables, our own apothecary, stuff like that, to where we can start to craft and manufacture stuff for our characters, and bring in resources that maybe the town doesn't have or that's too far away. So those are going to kind of be our meta. You'll see how those play in more as we go along. And then, yeah, so we met our character's calendar. So we are going to have a in-world calendar. It's going to mimic pretty much our standard Earth calendar. I may decide to keep the days the same just to make it easy. But basically, you know, if it takes 2 to 3 days to travel from one town to the next, that all of that will be accounted for in time tracking. And the reason I want to do this is because there's going to be things that are outside of our control. So we're not going to be able to accept every mission. This is what I really love about some of the XCOM, especially like when it got modded and you had like the covert infiltration stuff. There's going to be so much to do that we can't do it all. There will be rival adventuring groups and companies that go out and maybe tackle some of those rumors or whatnot, but then the world around us is also going to be living. So let's say there was a rumor about, you know, an orc village and we never got around to doing that. Well, there are going to be consequences. Maybe that orc village, you know, is taken care of by another mercenary group, or maybe they end up spilling over and they attack the settlement. But that's all tracked on time. So everything is going to have countdown timers and mission expiration dates. So that'll make it more of a living world, which will be really cool. Yeah, and then let's go ahead and get our initial rumors. That's the last thing that I wanted to do in today's episode. So we're going to start with 2d4 plus 1 rumors. So let's clear out our dice here. And let's see, so 2d4. That is a 2 and a 2 plus 1. So we're going to have 5 initial rumors to get us started. One of them I already have. This is left over from a playtest, and I really love that we generated it randomly. And so I definitely wanted to incorporate it. There is talk of a swamp dragon or beast or wyvern that attacked a group of adventurers on their way back in one of the nearby forest areas that kind of opens up into a swamp area. So they don't know the exact location. They were all very scared when they came back. This is our overworld kind of map, and so they were actually in our starting hex here. And again, this fleshed out in more detail here. So they were down. Here's our Camp Shadwod. So roughly about 4 to 10 miles away in the swamp lowland areas of the kind of the river expanding before you hit the lake over here. There was a group of adventurers that were attacked by what they claim a swamp dragon. How we know this is one of the adventurers did not return, and their story was that this swamp dragon came down, attacked them, and basically threatened to kill them all unless they sacrificed one of their own. And as they all ran away, basically it caught up to one of them and just took them off. Whether it kidnapped them or killed them, we don't know. So there is definitely a possible swamp dragon around. They probably don't live within this hex just because of the settlement, but they're definitely using it as a hunting ground. So there's a possibility that they are somewhere within the vicinity. Now each one of these hexes here, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, each one of these is roughly about 15 miles across. And then in our close-up view, each hex is 3 miles. And I like the 3 miles because of the fact that that's a league, which should be about 1 hour of travel on a trail or road. Obviously, if you're going through a swamp, it's going to take you more than an hour to traverse 3 miles. So yeah, so that's one. And then we have 4 more to do. So we're going to do a combination. I'm going to do 4 from Shadowdark and 4 from OSE. So to do the Shadowdark rumors to kind of get us started, we'll open up our book here, and let's see, rumors. Page 120. All right, D100. We got a, what is that, 10 and 0, so 10. Lizard folk have been raiding caravans near the swamp. Okay. So there are some form of lizard folk in this area. Now, could they be the native tribe? When we fleshed out this initial hex, there's some sort of native tribe that hangs out or lives in the southeastern area of the hex. Could that be them? We don't know. So lizard folk attacking caravans near the swamp. That swamp area is kind of deadly, and what's interesting is it's literally in the middle of, of the hex, and it's not that far away. I mean, it's only maybe a half day's journey, so cool. All right, so our next rumor, 41. A dwarven mining team has uncovered a tentacle statue. Uncovered tentacle statue. Something along that lines of that rumor would involve like establishing who this mining expedition is, who are they funded by, where were they mining, and is the and then also with all of these, kind of, does the local garrison know, and are they doing anything about it? We'll find out. All right, so we have 2 more from Shadowdark book. That is a 13. Armored skeletons are roaming the misty graveyard. So, armored skeletons in the misty graveyard, which we don't even know where the graveyard is. These are just to start get us going. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. 51. 51. A Gorgon stalks the ruins of the Underhill Halls. A Gorgon stalks the ruins of Underhill Halls. So some sort of ruins. Now, the way that we're going to do the old school essentials is we are going to go to the encounter table. And so this will be a D8. And we're going to do, we have forest, swamp, and hills, and we need 4 of them. This is a primary forest hex, so we'll do 2 forest, 1 swamp, and 1 hills. So we have our D8. Let's go ahead and do our forest first. 5. That is a humanoid. So we'll come over here to our forest. Forest humanoid, and we'll roll our D20. 15. An ogre. So there has been an ogre sighting to the west, or sorry, to the east. Go ahead and roll another D8. So that is a 2. Oh, another dragon. Oh, I love it. I really want dragons to be a very heavy influence in this. Very dangerous. So we'll roll our D20 on our dragons. 7. A gold dragon. So we know about a swamp dragon that has attacked. These are going to be sightings. So a golden dragon sighted in the sky. So possibly 2 dragons have lairs around here. Let's go ahead and do our swamp. That is a 1. Right, let's see. Ocean, sea, swamp. Oh. Let's see what it's going to be first. My bad. So swamp. Ooh, another dragon. You see? Swamp. 1. Dragon. Okay. I love it. 4. A brass dragon was sighted in the swamps. Sighted in swamps. So the golden dragon, we don't... we can say that was from the hills to the southwest. Hills, southwest. Swamp. And then we'll do one more hill. B8, that's a 5. So we'll go over here to our Barren Hills Mountains. 5 is a humanoid. So Barren Hills Mountain humanoid. We'll roll our D20. 16. Swifferblin. Or Silverblin. What is that? That's some kind of gnome, right? QRST. There we go. Yeah. A short demi-human with long noses and garled, hairless gray skin. Deep gnomes, that's right. So maybe there's a deep gnome colony within the hills as well. Yeah. We'll say, ooh, the dwarf miners may have come across him as well. The dwarven mining team. I like that. Now let's see, were they in the hills to the west or the east? So odd would be left, or west. Even will be east. So that is odd. So the sighted by dwarven mining team. To southwest hills. And we'll just put, I mean, well, basically we don't know. We'll have to investigate. So here are our initial missions and rumors. And basically we'll take investigation. We'll come up with basically what the objectives of each one would be. But we have quite a few to pick from. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Were we supposed to have 9? No. 1. Oh, I think it was supposed to be 2, 4 total. I'm a moron. I made way more than I was supposed to. Whatever. That's cool. That's cool. We overdid it. We were only supposed to do 5, and we have 9. Anyways, okay. So we have the swamp dragon that attacked an adventurer. Possible lizard folk settlement. They've been attacking caravans near the swamp. Dwarven mining team found a tentacle statue. They also sighted deep gnomes in the southwest mountain hills. There are rumors that armored skeletons are patrolling around the misty graveyard. Possible that the Gorgon stalks ruins in the Underhill Halls. Where that is, we don't know. There was an ogre sighting to the east. And then there has been 2 sightings of additional dragons. The golden dragon in the hills to the southwest. These hills are very active. There is a lake over there, so very interesting. A brass dragon was sighted overhead in the swamp area. And then our deep known sighted by the dwarves in the southwest mountains. So we have quite a few to potentially investigate. What we're going to go do is we're going to wrap up this episode here. But in our behind the scenes, we're going to go through and we're going to establish what is the time frame for each of these. When will these missions expire or come to their pinnacle? What would the objectives be? And then that way we have those ready to go for WOSL to be able to decide where do we send our troops first or our characters first. In addition to that, we are going to make and flesh out in detail 2 more hexes. So we have E1, which I'm pointing to here, fleshed out. That's our starting hex. We've done E3, which is to the direct south here. There is a settlement down there. That's about a day and a half's journey to that settlement. We haven't populated this hex, but we do have a detailed map of it. I also want to do a detailed map of kind of the wastelands over here, which would be F2, and then D2 as well. So that way we have our east, south, and west covered. About a day and a half journey to each. We really shouldn't be going any further than that until our characters level up. So we'll be fleshing out those maps as well as getting a little bit more into the missions that we'll be able to accept, and look for those videos on behind the scenes. Thank you again so much. Please like, subscribe, and share with anyone that you feel would find this interesting of kind of what we're doing here. And I appreciate y'all for hanging out. Thanks.